It's time for Vechtersbazen.
De Vechtersbazen zijn terug in je leven, terug op je beeldscherm of op je oren, hoe je deze podcast ook tot je neemt. Je weet, we zijn elke keer weer met de beste verhalen van jouw favoriete vechters. En het kunnen de toppers van morgen zijn, toppers van vandaag of de legends van gisteren. De man die er vandaag bij zit, ik kan het niet vaak zeggen dat we een UFC-kampioen in de uitzending hebben, maar we hebben het rechtstreeks uit Manchester, de enige echte Big Tom Aspinall. I'll continue in English now, maybe a little bit easier for you.
I have no idea what you just said, Dan. So yeah, let's
all
continue
good
in
things.
English. Okay,
all good things. All good things. Welcome. Happy to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
I've been looking to have you here for a while because now you traveled to the Netherlands quite a bit, training with Rico now as well.
I mean, I've known Rico for a long time. We've probably known each other at this point. Probably somewhere close to 10 years, to be honest. We've been training together probably for about 5-6 years, something like that. Like they are like an extended team. We're all kind of like one team kind of thing. So if I need their help, we come here. If they need my help, we Dennis, Rico's coach, and my dad, who's my coach, are very close. So it's like we're always in communication.
Almost like
and stuff.
family.
Yeah, exactly.
But because you've known each other for a long time, because you used to be both involved with Tyson Fury, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But now you're actually like training buddies.
Oh, we've been training together for a long time now.
Yeah.
I've been coming to the Netherlands now for maybe 5 years, something like that. I'm here at least like once, twice a year. I try and get here like every training camp, just for a few days, just to get everything sharp, have the guys look at me. I can take things away. And this time, actually, it wasn't so much for me. It was for Rico more this time. He's got a big fight coming up. So
yeah, he's fighting Levy.
Yeah, that's right. So I was here to help Rico a little bit. They asked me to come, and they are friends of mine, team of mine, family of mine. So of course I'll be here if they need me.
Yeah. So if I understand correctly, you've been Levy over a little bit.
I mean, completely contrasting. I think my style, even though me and Levy are like, I'm an MMA fighter, Levy's a kickboxer. He's really tall. I'm a bit tall, but I think for Rico, I always bring something to the table is that I'm fast and I'm explosive. I'm unorthodox that he's not used to, so that's good for any opponent, I think.
Yeah. One of the things that stood out, you said to me recently, and you said it again this week, by the way, and that's odd for me, you being UFC champion, because you're already on top of the mountain, right? That you want to be like Rico, that you look up to Rico. Can you explain a little bit what you mean with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of guys, they get near the top and then they stop looking on what they can do to get better. Whereas I'm the opposite. I'm like, right, I'm at the top now. I've got to keep it. But Rico is very much in that mindset as well. I think the stuff that Rico's done within the sport of kickboxing, and I mean, I'm only speaking from like a UK point of view. Kickboxing isn't as popular as MMA in the UK, at least. Maybe it's different here. I don't know. But like what Rico's done in kickboxing is nothing short of incredible, in my opinion. Like he has done way more and still strives to do more, which it's shocking in a way. Sometimes I just say to Rico and I just think, this guy is absolutely insane. Like he acts normal. Yeah. He's a normal guy, but there's something in his brain that isn't normal. Yeah. Like he searches for more and more, and I'm inspired by him. Like inside and outside of the ring, inside and outside of the gym, I think he's an awesome guy. And I think he's just hungry and ambitious, and he's trying to get better, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to get to the top and just think, yeah, I'm at the top, I'm just going to chill. I'm the opposite. Yeah. I'm like, and I think Rico's the same. Like he's got to the top and he wants to improve, and I want to improve. So that's something that I look up to from Rico.
Yeah, but still a little, because you're a champion in the UFC, by far the biggest organization. So for you to say like, I want to be more like, I mean, everybody wants to be a UFC champion, right? So for you to be on top of that mountain and going to somebody like Rico, it's for outsiders. I understand what you mean, because it's the mindset, the special mindset and the character, the mental toughness that Rico has, that makes him the special fighter that he is. But for outside people, it might be difficult to understand that.
Maybe, but I don't know. I think it's pretty straightforward, to be honest. Like even, obviously there's big differences in the style of Rico's fighting. He's a kickboxer, and the style of I'm fighting, because I'm an MMA fighter. It's two different things. But even like athletically, like he's a big guy. He's flexible. He moves well. He's got a great physique. He's fit. He's strong. He's got great conditioning. Like, these are all things that I can implement in my game. Like, it doesn't mean I have to fight exactly the same as him. Of course, I pick up fighting stuff from him, but just seeing his work ethic and the way he lives outside the gym, the way, because he's not like a wild party guy or anything. Like, he's focused on the job, and he sticks to that all year round. Yeah. And that's what I do. Like, I see what Rico's doing, and I see what other guys are doing on top, and I would rather be like Rico than anybody else. So I'm not at the top, and I've said it plenty times before. I'm honestly not interested really in like a celebrity lifestyle and driving around on yachts and going to parties in Vegas and all that. It just doesn't really interest me. But what does interest me is being the best version of myself that I can possibly be. And I see that in Rico, and me and Rico are friends, so automatically I'm just like attracted to that.
Yeah, because this is one of the things that's funny that you said that amazes me in you, because I know you for a few years now, and you become UFC champion, you're headlining big cards, you know, you're one of the biggest names in UFC, and still you remain that same kind of normal guy, you know. Maybe you drive a little bit bigger car, but everything stayed the same on the outside, you know. You're still the humble guy. You still, to me, make the impression that you're kind of like, maybe not surprised of what you wear, but you're kind of like looking around like, wow, am I really here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not surprised. I feel like I expected this, and my dad even expected it before me. Yeah. So I feel like it's programmed into me to be like that. But I don't know. You know, when people change, when I don't see how that's really possible. Obviously, like, there's definitely certain things that have changed in my life. Like, I'm financially secure. I drive a nice car. I live in a nice house and stuff like that. That's cool. But I think as far as like personality, I mean, I'm getting older, I'm learning more things all the time as a person, but I think I'm still pretty similar to what I was before. But I don't really know how that's surprising to people, because I don't know why. I don't see how all that would change anybody, to be honest. But it does. It does.
It does. And that's why, because I do understand how it changes people, because and now suddenly you're doing WWE stuff, you know, you're getting commercial deals, you're getting, you know, all these invites for movie premieres and everything, you know, you're making more money. Everybody wants something of you, and everybody around you wants a piece of the pie, and they're telling you how great you are, and they want to be in your entourage. It's kind of hard living in that environment and staying grounded. So how do you stay grounded?
Well, I've got my dad with me, so he keeps me grounded massively. But also, it's a great learning experience for me. Yeah. It's great. It's been a great learning experience. I was always like a pretty shy kid, and I always wanted to be liked by everybody. Yeah. And as you start getting more successful, you kind of realize, oh, not everybody likes me. Right. For me, a lot of people like me for the other stuff. They want an Instagram picture. They want to, you know, say, this is who I've been hanging around with. They want to go to this party, that party, this event, that event. And it has really opened my eyes to that. But I think also that's not a part of success. That's also just a part of getting older and growing up. You know, I got my own children. I see how they work. Yeah. I see how other adults work around me, other parents, and I think that's just a part of getting older as well.
Like, that's true. It's true. I mean, I would say when I was younger, I was always like, you know, wanted to be popular, wanted to be liked by people, you know, trying to do things you think other people like, you know, and I found that as I got older, I don't give a fuck anymore about what other people think about. I really don't. I'm twice as old as you almost, but, you know, but as I got older, I was like, you know, like tattoos were one thing. But first, I like people looked at tattoos a certain way. So before, I had to keep them like within my t-shirt, and then keep them within my shirt length, you know. And I'm never gonna do my hands. And I'm like, I don't give I'm not gonna tattoo my face, but you know, what if I do? I don't care what people think about it. You know, it's different how you grow up and yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you live and learn, don't you?
Yeah.
You live and learn in any context. But I think this has been like a great learning experience for me, because there's only like a very, very small percentage of human beings walking around on the face of the earth that have to deal with I mean, I'm not saying I'm like Michael Jackson or anything, but like I have to deal with like a lot of eyes on you. And it's been a fantastic learning experience, and it's still something that I'm learning. Still something that I'm learning every day. Like, how is it? Like, I got to go to the airport soon.
Yeah.
And people are going to come over for pictures. And I've just done 10 rounds of sparring this morning. I'm pretty tired. And I've got to drag my ass all the way through the airport and everything. And sometimes I have to be like, look, I am tired, and I can't always give someone that energy. And like you said, sometimes that comes across like, you know, that might be someone's only ever interaction with me is me dragging my ass across the airport after doing 15 round sparring in the last 2 days.
Here comes another one.
Yeah. And it's hard to, sometimes I have to protect my own mentality and be like, yeah, we'll do a quick one, but I've got to go. Yeah. But that comes across as rude, but also you have to kind of protect yourself, where it's like, if I waste that energy, like I ain't got the energy for that. Do you know what I mean? But it's constant. You know, the goalposts are always moving. Yeah. The more fights you get, the bigger you get, and the more popular you get, and it just constantly going like that. But I'll tell you what, out of all the problems in the world, it's a pretty good problem to have. And I think that anybody who's complaining about it too much, it's a bit silly, because I spoke to GSP about it actually, just as I started like main eventing. And for anyone who doesn't know, GSP is like my absolute hero in MMA. And I was asking him just like a private conversation, like, how do you deal with, you know, this like people wanting your attention and people wanting pictures and interviews, and like you say, people pull you this way, pull you that way, and something else, when you're popular, you're always the bad guy. Yeah, you're always the bad guy. So
because you have to disappoint people.
It's easy to point at the finger and at the popular guy and go, this guy's the idiot, the successful person. But I asked GSP, like, how do you deal with it? And he said somebody told him that it's easy to get rid of it. You just got to start losing. Yeah. So it's up to you. Yeah. It's like a necessary evil. Like, if you want to win and be successful, you got to deal with it. But like I say, it's a pretty good problem to have in the world of, you know, in the overall spectrum of problems that you can have. Being popular and successful isn't that big of a problem, really. No,
but sometimes you have to protect yourself by disappointing people, right? You have to say people no, even maybe people close to you who want certain things of you. You have to say no. Is it hard for you?
Yeah, it is hard, but I'm learning. Yeah. I'm learning. I didn't really have much life experience coming into this, in all honesty. Like, I spent my life in the gym, really, realistically. I didn't really, I worked a few jobs here and there, but all my jobs were like to pay for my training, really. So I didn't have a lot of life experience. So me having these difficult conversations with people has always been difficult for me. But you live and learn. It's just part of getting older, I guess. Yeah, I mean, anyone has to have difficult conversations with people, and it's difficult. It is. But like you said, you're a fair bit older than me. I'm not trying to say you're old, but
I said it myself. It's okay.
You look fantastic. You look fantastic. I think the older you get and the more experiences like that you have, the less you give a shit. Really, it's about you, and you got to look after yourself, and that's it.
Good. But you growing up at the Mets with your dad being who your dad is, was there ever an idea of you becoming something else than a fighter?
I mean, I've had some bad moments in fighting. I think that, definitely. I think it was very tough. I mean, you know this, but I have 3 kids, and when I have my twins, so I've got an older kid now that's 8, my twins are 5. I had 3 kids under 3 at one point, and I had 0 money. And people around me have always been very supportive, to be honest. But I felt a lot of pressure of people. People weren't actually saying it. Maybe I was just being a bit paranoid at the time, and maybe my ego as a man was a little bit hurt. But I remember feeling like everybody feels like I should go and support my family financially and get a regular job. I remember feeling like that. And then when I lost the fight to Blades with an injury, that also was a massive ego death.
Really?
Yeah, because being on your back, not even having a fight really, with an injured knee in front of like 25,000 home fans, that's very tough, man. That's very. And at the time, I feel like that was like a title eliminator fight. But you know what? Looking back now, it was probably the best thing that could have happened. But at the time, it was very tough. Yeah. I think
is that the biggest adversity you had to deal with? Because up until then, your UFC career was just going.
Yeah, it was going good.
It was smooth. You know, winning everything.
Within the UFC, yeah, definitely. That was a point where I was like, right, I'm either going to have to go all in with everything, or I'm going to have to do something else. Because at the time, I wasn't doing everything properly. And I really learned from that one. So I think the last 3, because I've had 3 fights since, and my 3 fights since have been first round knockouts against guys in the top 5. So I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah. You told me once that it actually changed your mentality. That
Massively. Massively, absolutely massively. Like we're saying about the saying no to people and stuff like that, I would just say yeah to everybody before.
Yeah.
And I think that me having that little time on the couch with a swollen knee just made me like reassess everything massively. Even like training, the decisions that I was making outside the gym, my lifestyle, diet, everything. The people who were around me, like I just cut it all off and rebuilt.
Yeah. How dark were those moments in that time?
I mean, they weren't. I wasn't like suicidal or anything. But,
thank God. No, no, but you did say that it made you doubt and reevaluate everything.
Yeah, it did massively. But I think sometimes you need that. You need a bit of adversity. I think just if everything goes smoothly all the time, you're never going to be. And now, honestly, I just think I always take myself back. Since then, like I say, I've had 3 fights, and I always take myself back to that time of me like being like mentally, me being sat on the couch with a big swollen knee and wondering and just thinking, listen, I would rather be here than where I was then. Yeah. So, I was in some dark moments for sure, but I also have like some pretty decent perspective on life, I think. And I was like, just an injury, just a sport. We'll just get back to it, or we won't, whatever. And we decided to get back into it, and it's gone well since, so I can't complain.
It's gone pretty well. One of my favorite moments last year, and I mentioned it in this space before, is when you won the interim belt.
Yeah.
And you gave it to your dad in the cage. Me, it got me emotional knowing the connection between you and your father, and now that you've been together for like forever. That it's true that he never missed a single training session of yours.
I mean, obviously he's missed training sessions here and there, but I would say I don't know how many times I try. So 365 days in a year, is that right? Ish. I don't know. Is that how many days there are in a year?
365, yeah.
So let's say
sometimes 366.
Let's say I train 300 days.
A
year over 15 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what the mass is on that, but say I train 300 days a year.
Yeah,
he'll be at least 290 of the sessions. Yeah, easy. Yeah. Maybe more. Yeah. He's at nearly every session. Yeah.
Because that moment can you talk me through that moment? What was going through your mind at that moment?
Well, first of all, the Pavlovich fight, the actual fight was all right. Everything leading up to it was a fucking absolute disaster. And I don't think, because I've seen a lot of people saying, not a lot of people, a few people saying like, why is Tom getting emotional over a interim title? Listen, it wasn't nothing to do with the title.
No.
Like, we had some terrible build-up for that fight, honestly. It was awful. So, first of all, I accepted the fight on 2 weeks' notice.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never been as out of shape as I was at that time, honestly. So I took it. I got the call from the UFC, took the fight. I was like unfit. I'm always training. I'm always training every day. But I wasn't training.
This scary Russian guy that nobody wants to fight.
Yeah, at the time he was like, I think he was like 16-1 with like 15 first round knockouts. He was absolutely steamrolling everybody. He was already in training camp, obviously, for like 3 months because he thought he was fighting for the title anyway.
Yeah.
So I wasn't. I was actually like on a stag do the week before. So I was like kind of recovering from that a little bit. I was fat. I was out of shape. I was training, but I wasn't like anywhere near fit. So I said to my dad, listen, the first thing we need to do is like spar. We need to get like the guys in. Give me 5 rounds and give me like a fresh training partner each round. And let me just see. Obviously, I'm not going to be at peak fitness, but let me see like how intense I can go. Within like 3 rounds, injured my back so bad, like really, really bad. I couldn't walk for like 5 days. 4 or 5 days, I could hardly move my back at all. Also, I didn't have a visa for the US.
Nice stress on top of it.
Yeah, so I had to go to London, which is like 3 hours away from home. I had to queue up all day with this back, and I couldn't even get comfortable in the frigging visa place. Didn't know if I could get a visa on short notice like that. And then we finally got a visa like 5 days before. Then we had to fly to New York, which is over the other side of the world.
Yeah.
The time zone was different. Then the fight week was just a massive mess, like overwhelming, horrendous mess. And then obviously the fight actually went well. It went all right.
Was
But
the best part of it.
but
yeah.
like the build up was just absolute, like everything
Yeah.
near enough just went wrong that should have gone smoothly.
No.
But yeah, well, it was more like relief rather than anything. And my dad's always like the calming guy who's always just like, listen, just don't stress about it. Like it'll be all right. Just work it out. He's like, he always tells me it's just a sport.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what happens. Like if you lose the fight, you still go home to your family and everything's going to be all right. Like it's fine. So I think he's always good to like put me back in that perspective of it's just a sport and don't stress about it, because I think with combat sports especially, you can just like overthink it massively.
Yeah.
And get in this kind of mind space where you think too deeply about it. You start feeling like you're going to the, you're like walking the green mile, going to the octagon or something about to get executed, but it isn't. Like it's just a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully not. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
I hope I'm not going to die
in
in
the
there.
audience. It can happen. Yeah.
I know. So, yeah, it was more just like relief, and obviously I wanted to thank my dad in that way, which is nice.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. It was a special moment.
It was a special moment. Yeah, definitely.
Because he is, on the outside at least, he's one of the most like laid back, grounded persons I've ever met. He's always like in control, never seems fazed by anything.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. That's fantastic to be around in fight week, because there's just a lot going on, and on that week particularly, like, I've never been to New York before. I don't know what New York's like. There's a million people. They put us on Times Square. There's a million people around, fans all over the hotel. I'm obviously, like you say, fighting this big scary Russian guy who's knocking everybody out. I've got an injured back. I'm not fit. I'm jet lagged as hell.
Yeah.
And I've got all this crazy thoughts going on constantly. And my daddy's the best to be around during fight week.
Yeah. But all those things happening, right? But, I mean, it's all terrible and bad. It's far from ideal in the preparation. But sometimes going into a fight like that could also like take the edge off, because you don't have to build up in your head like for 2-3 months, but you're preparing for a fight. You only think about the fight every day. Sometimes to go in like that and everything's going wrong can also distract you in a right way.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Sometimes that's kind of good, and especially with that situation, it was like, listen, I'm not at my best, and we were all aware that I wasn't at my best as well. Let's just try and go and enjoy it, because it might be the only chance I get this one. So let's just try and go and try and enjoy it. And that is when I actually do my best, is when I enjoy it. Like I say, we're not doing the green mile here. We're not going to get executed at the end of it. Like, let's go and enjoy this sport while it lasts, because I always say to people, like, these moments, like, they're really special. And in 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, whenever I decide to stop, like, that's going to be done forever, and I'm never going to get these moments again. So I try and enjoy them as much as I can while they're here, because each time I do them, it's a time, like, it's hard to, like, it's one less time that I'm going to do it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how many fights I've got left. I'm not one of these guys who wants to stick around forever.
No.
Nah, I don't think so.
Or what if you go on a Rico-esque streak and you be unbeaten for 10
I think
years?
Rico's insane.
Yeah, he's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Rico's definitely a bit insane. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to do that. I've not really, in all honesty, I've not really got any interest in being like the best heavyweight ever.
No?
That's why when me and Jon Jones talk, like, he says stuff online, he's like, my legacy is always going to be better. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah. I'm not bothered about legacy. I just feel like I'm the best heavyweight in the world, and I want people to recognize it. That's it. That's all I want. That's it. I don't want to be the greatest heavyweight ever or anything like that. I'm not bothered. Like, I'm here to enjoy myself, make some money, be a world champion, and then I'll go and do something else.
Yeah. What is your ideal ending?
My ideal ending?
Yeah.
Leave the sport healthy, happy, and wealthy. That's it. There's a lot of guys, especially in MMA, and we're starting seeing it now.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to name any names, because these are like peers of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But there's guys there who they've been knocked out, they start losing, and you just know that there's going to start getting knocked out every fight.
Yeah.
And I just don't want that for myself.
No,
I just don't want it.
Yeah.
I want to be healthy when I leave. And this sport is like so frigging dangerous that how many times do you want to roll the dice?
Yeah. But are you worried about, is that something that concerns you? You have your father, 3 kids. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's not something that I don't like lose sleep over it, but I'm not an idiot as well.
No.
Like I am aware that like this is dangerous.
Yeah.
I definitely am aware, especially in the heavyweight division. Like massive guys, absolutely massive guys, the smallest clubs you can get, and the rules are very limited. So I'm completely aware that, you know, if you like zig when you could have zagged, the referee's going to be waking you up in a couple of years, might be taking off your life. Yeah. And that's the realistic, and that's what I signed up for. Do you know what I mean? I was aware of this 20 years ago when I started training. I'm still aware of it now, but like I don't want to stay in the sport too long. No, I definitely don't. I don't see me finishing like anytime soon at all. But I think long term, I don't want to be one of those guys who's fighting till I'm 40. No way.
But that I think is one of the most difficult things in sport, to determine the moment that you need to get out on time. And there's very few. GSP is probably one of the better examples of doing it the right way. But almost all other fighters, they continue. Look at Tony Ferguson. You know, at one point he was the best, probably the best lightweight in the world. And now you see him inside the cage. We're witnessing life declining, not only physically but also mentally. It's not good, and nobody's there to tell him stop, or maybe they're telling him and he's not listening. And a lot of fighters are like that, and it's very hard to determine the right moment.
It must be,
and until you pass that moment, then it's too late.
It must be, and it's not something I'm looking forward to doing. In all honesty, I'm not thinking about retirement at all at this point.
It's also ego thing, right?
Yeah, it's got to be, because you like kind of lose your identity. Yeah. Like I spent my whole life training MMA and different aspects of martial arts. Like what happens when that's gone? Yeah. I mean, I still always train, but like I'm a bit lost without a fight sometimes. Yeah. So how does that look when I'm done? But who knows? Who knows what the future's going to bring? I don't know. There's also a UK boxer. I don't know if you know him, a Welsh guy, Joe Calzaghe. He retired on top as well. Yeah. And that's awesome to see. Yeah. But I always feel like if you retire kind of early, like Khabib, for example, is he now thinking, I should have continued? Yeah,
what if? And that is the thing. And that is also because a lot of fighters who retired, and at some point they come back. They always come back, and people usually think it's because of money. Yeah. But what I think, and what you hear a lot of fighters say, it's not only the money. It's a lot of time. It's like when the lights go out, they lose the attention, they lose the status, they lose their identity, like you say, and they crave that. They want to be in the limelight again, and that's why they get back to fighting. And it's dangerous because, like I said, when do you determine when it's too much or when you've gone over the hill?
I don't know. It's difficult to ask me because I feel like I'm not even in my prime yet. No. I don't even feel like I'm close to it, to be honest. So I feel like I've got a couple of years before that even hits. But I also like to think, and I mean, people might think otherwise, but I like to think I'm quite smart. That might be a surprise to you, Dennis, also.
No. I know you well enough.
But I'd like to think that my ego's quite under control, and hopefully I'll be able to say when enough is enough. But I don't know. Right now, I don't know. I feel like I've got way more to do. So I'm not thinking about it just yet. I don't know.
And you're now in this weird conundrum, right? You're the interim champ. You had to defend your interim belt. Yeah. Waiting for what these two, with all due respect, old guys are going to do, Jon Jones and Stipe in November. And then finally, because do you consider yourself to be the world champion right now? Because the world championship hasn't been defended in more than 2 years. While you have been defending your interim belt. You've been active in defending.
Yeah, well, I think Jon Jones is like the paper champ, in my opinion. I see myself as usually an interim champ is like a champ in waiting for the undisputed champ. Yeah. But when the undisputed champ is kind of avoiding the fight with the interim champ and the interim champ's defending, I think it's difficult to say right now that I'm not the best in the world. And that's not me like blowing my own trumpet or anything. I think that's kind of the truth of it. But yeah, we're just waiting now. Like, I'm happy to wait now. Obviously, I was trying to get the Jon Jones fight, but that didn't work out for me. So right now, we're just going to wait. I'm going to be there in New York. And
going to be the backup fighter?
I'm going to be the backup fighter, and I'm very excited to see, because I'm like an MMA nerd. Like, I want to see when I'm sat 5 meters from them, how do they look?
Yeah.
when they're fighting each other. That's really interesting for me because I've been to a lot of events and I've sat close to the fights, obviously, and I've watched way more on TV, and it is different. When you see guys up close and you see guys on the TV, it's way different, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys look like up close fighting each other. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. What do you think of this fight? This, as a fan, Stipe against Jon Jones.
It's difficult for me because I'm biased to the situation, aren't I? But as a fan, it doesn't really interest me that much. It interests me because it's my division and it's potentially who I'm going to fight next, and that's why it interests me. But as a pure fan, there's more fights that I'd rather see. I think that Jon Jones has got the edge on him just because he's younger. He's been a little bit more active, but none of them have really been active. And with Stipe not fighting for like 4 years and his last fight being a loss and him being like 42, 43 years of age, I just can't see him looking that good. But that being said, he's very smart. He's very powerful. So if he lands one, I wouldn't be surprised if he knocked him out. But I would say Jon is just the younger and fresher guy of the two. So I would give the edge to Jon.
Yeah. But Jon's also only fought like twice in 4 years, something, right? He's also been super inactive. And that one heavyweight fight, and that's the thing where I get a little bit tasty. He's of course he's the heavyweight champion, but he fought Cyril Gane, who has zero wrestling, and played directly into his hand during that fight. Other than that, we've seen nothing of Jon Jones on heavyweight, so it's hard for me to determine where he is. Against Stipe, he was the most decorated heavyweight of all time, but like I said, he hadn't fought in 4 years. Yeah. It's such a weird situation, and what I'm afraid of for you, which I don't hope, is that whoever wins, the worst thing that can happen is that Stipe wins and he retires after. Yeah. And then the belt comes vacant again. But even if Jon Jones wins, there's also people saying this is going to be his last fight. He has no interest.
It's interesting. It's kind of interesting in that respect. I don't think the fight is that interesting, but I think what happens after the fight, there's a few different ways it can go. There's definitely a few different ways, and that's kind of exciting. I think that's quite exciting. So I'll be ready for whatever they throw at me. Yeah.
Do you think he wants to fight you,
Jon Jones?
Yeah.
I think he's a strange, unpredictable guy, and I don't think that anybody really knows. So I don't know. I'd like to think that I was pissing him off and testing his ego a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know. And he's definitely a bit of an odd guy, so it's hard to predict.
Yeah. Would that be your dream fight though?
Yeah. I think so. Just because he's like, I've never once, even though I want to fight the guy, I've never once disrespected Jon Jones and what he's done with his career. Or maybe I have. I did accuse him of being on PEDs, which is a fact. It is a fact. I'm not,
It's not accusation, no? That's
it's the truth, so I don't like that. But what he's done in the sport, it's hard to not respect that apart from the PED part.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
But I think, if you can get that name on your resume as a scalp, I think that goes a long way. But all I ask is, like, Dana White saying that he's the GOAT and the pound for pound number one.
Yeah.
If I fight Jon Jones and beat him, he still has to be the pound for pound. You can't start saying he's old then.
No.
You can't start, he's past it, he's old, blah, blah, blah.
Because that's the worst.
Yeah. You can't do that.
No.
Like, if he's the pound for pound GOAT or whatever, keep the same energy when I beat him, please. That's what I ask.
Yeah. But you consider yourself the pound for pound number one?
No, pound for pound's a load of shit anyway.
Yeah.
It's a load of rubbish,
Yeah.
So it's a terrible argument.
Are you a person that doesn't believe in rankings?
I think there's an argument for rankings. I think there's not an argument for pound rankings. I think it's the biggest load of rubbish that anybody could ever make up. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, right, what if Brock Lesnar's a flyweight? Who's going to win in a fight, him or Henry Cejudo? Like, you can't predict it. That's a terrible argument. Like, you think Brock Lesnar is going to fight the same at flyweight as he does being massive 130 kilo squashing machine? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. It's a ridiculous argument. I don't understand it. Yeah, you can all. I think you can kind of argue who the GOAT is, like the best of all time, because you got resumes. He beat this guy in his prime. He beat this guy in his prime. He lost to that guy. Whatever. You can kind of all do that, but you can't say if everybody's the same weight who would win.
No,
like that's just a load of shit.
No,
it doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't. Who is your GOAT, by the way?
GSP, yeah, because I think there's definitely an argument for Jon Jones. I think there's definitely an argument for Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
But I think both of them definitely failed drug tests, and GSP didn't. So that puts GSP above for me.
Yeah, and coming back out of retirement and taking that second belt is kind of legendary too, right? Yeah. Yeah. For me, it would be Fedor always.
I think so. I think he's definitely awesome as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And that it's kind of difficult because that was like a different time and they were different. I don't know. There's an argument for everything in there.
No, but the run that Fedor went at,
he beat so many
10
names.
years unbeaten at heavyweight.
Yeah.
In the pool, because in a Shark Tank, where the names he beat at that time.
I agree. I would definitely agree, and I think he slips under the radar a bit because he wasn't in the UFC.
That's the problem. That's the problem that we never got to see him in.
But
the
at
UFC.
the time, Pride was equally as big as the UFC.
Yep.
Just in a different part of the world. So it's difficult to say, but there's also an argument for Mighty Mouse as well. I think, but he flies under the radar massively.
100%.
I think he is fantastic.
Probably the most skilled of all.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it's like we go back to the pound for pound thing.
Yeah.
You can't say, right, if Mighty Mouse and Tim Sylvia fought and they were the same weight, who would win? Like Tim Sylvia's a 6'9" guy who's like a big dinosaur.
Yeah.
And then Mighty Mouse, this little 55 kilo guy who's got all the skills in the world. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It's silly.
No. If everything's said and done and you hang your gloves up, what will you be doing? Will you be involved in the sport?
Well, that's the question. I don't know. I always get asked, like, would you coach people? No, is the answer. Absolutely not. I think coaching is equally as hard as fighting. I think you need to be just as dedicated as the fighters. I think, no, I just wouldn't coach. Like, you have to be so invested to be a coach that it's unbelievable. I would never. And also, I think when you're a coach, you literally have someone else's health in your hands near enough.
Yeah.
And that person can get seriously injured in there. And that might be because you've not been training well enough. Or you've not been doing the right things.
Deal with the responsibility.
I can't deal with that. So, I don't know what I'd like to do some, I'm working with TNT now. I've got my own show on there. I'd like to be around the sport in that way, talking about it. I like that. Analyst. That's pretty cool. I like that. I'd like to do some stuff away from the sport maybe. And in all honesty, I don't know. I've not really thought about it too much. It's not something I don't think about the future too much, to be honest. I just do my day-to-day stuff.
1st November.
But,
hopefully, and then versus Jon Jones fight. That's okay. I need to get you to the airport, I think.
Yep, we got to back to the beautiful Manchester, England. Yeah, can't wait. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure. I could pick your brain for a couple more hours, but maybe we do a follow up.
We'll do round two.
We'll do round two.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Alright, well, thank you a lot. Appreciate it. Jullie allemaal bedankt voor het kijken. Je weet waar we te vinden zijn op alle platformen. Vergeet niet te liken, te delen en te abonneren. En dan zijn we de volgende week gewoon weer. Oes.